I want to address one of the other stories that now is going to be a really big story in the wake of this leaked Supreme Court decision that will, as far as we know, overturn Roe v. Wade. There immediately were gatherings of protesters, both on the pro-choice and anti-choice side at the Supreme Court and elsewhere, as we just saw. Protesters on both sides have been mostly peaceful. And anecdotally, we have seen instances of individuals allegedly escalating. There have been some little brawls between the two camps, and police have gotten involved. At this point, I can't say more than that. But there's definitely the potential that we will see continued or growing unrest surrounding this decision. And the unrest may come from any side. I condemn violence. I'm against violence. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, the right is acting as though it is the pro-choice left that is uniquely and particularly violent physically in this political disagreement. And that is a lie. The history of anti-abortion violence is abhorrent. And you can easily Google this and find endless examples. CNN has one good article about this. There have been more than 200 bombings and arson attacks at facilities that offer abortion services. You could argue that that's terrorism. It's meant to terrorize as a group those who have or might someday seek abortion services. The first reported clinic arson was in 76, just after Roe v. Wade. Wow, what a shocker. There were clinic bombings in 78 and 84. In the 90s, it escalated even more. Dr. David Gunn was shot and killed in Pensacola, Florida, by a gunman against abortion. Dr. John Bayard Britton and his security escort were shot and killed in front of a Pensacola clinic. Clinic employees Shannon Lowney and Leanne Nichols were shot and killed in Brookline, Massachusetts. Off-duty police officer Robert Sanderson was killed in the bombing of a Birmingham, Alabama clinic. A sniper killed Dr. Barnett Slepian in Amherst, New York. And famously, an anti-abortion gunman killed 67-year-old George Tiller in Wichita, Kansas in 2009. That's a story we covered at the time. Our show was on the air. He was killed. He was an abortion clinic director. So these are extraordinarily violent folks who have been willing to do all sorts of violence. You could argue it's also violence to show up and intimidate people going in for medical services, as they've done all over the country. And yet you have all of these people on the right acting as though the right that is against abortion is completely peaceful. There is one tweet here from, who is this from? This is from Rebecca Mansour, who's the senior editor of Breitbart News, who said, quote, "The freakout you are witnessing from the left is very instructive. When Roe was handed down 49 years ago, pro-lifers didn't riot, didn't call for the Supreme Court to be burned down, didn't threaten the lives of justices, and didn't try to stack the court. Well, they did 200 bombings and attacks of abortion clinics." Then Jill Filipovic, who's a writer, lawyer, and author, tweeted, actually, since Roe was handed down 49 years ago, so-called pro-lifers have committed 11 murders, 26 attempted murders, 4 kidnappings, 42 bombings, 667 bomb threats, 100 butyric acid attacks, 189 arsons, on and on and on. They are violent. They are violent. Don't let them trick you into thinking that it is the pro-choice left that is the violent group. Now, could individuals on either side anecdotally commit violence in the next few days? Sure. And I'm against it. And they should be arrested if they commit a crime or are believed to have committed a crime. And they should be charged and prosecuted. Absolutely. Both sides, don't care who it is. But the historical record is the violence comes from the anti-choice side. We'll have these clips and tweets on our Instagram, which you can find at David Pakman Show.